There is a name in Hunan that was not spoken after dark. I heard it first in Yiyang, where the river smell turned sour at dusk. The widow who told me pressed her thumb over the lantern wick before she said, Yuan Gui. I walked the Xiang River road in late autumn, when the paddies lay cut and stubbled, and frost sat white on the footbridges before dawn. Bamboo knocked in the hills. Smoke from pine kindling hung low among the tiled roofs and did not lift quickly. Beyond Changsha, the road bent past shrine stones, burial mounds, and fields where thin water reflected the moon like broken porcelain. Men there said the wandering dead favored the hungry months after harvest. Dogs would not nose the ditch grass on those nights. Yuan Gui was the name they gave a ghost made by unjust death. Yuan carried grievance, a wrong held tight in the chest. Gui meant the returning dead. Together, the words named one who should have gone onward, yet stood back up in bitterness. In Jiangxi I heard the same spirit called yuanhun, the aggrieved soul. In old tale collections, some scribes wrote wanghun, a lost spirit. Yet the elders in Hunan shook their heads at that softness. Lost was one thing, wronged and unsent was another. The first full account reached me in the winter of Guangxu's 15th year. Carried in a copied letter from a grain broker's son. He wrote of a ferryman named Luo at Ningxiang. Luo took a moon crossing after curfew and saw a woman already aboard. She wore funeral white, darkened by river spray. Water dripped from her sleeve onto the planks, though the night had been clear. Luo said the skiff smelled of mud, pulled from a deep bank. When he asked whose household she belonged to, she only named the ford. At midstream, she told him she had been struck dead beside that crossing, and buried without justice. The lamp burned blue, then thin. Luo reached shore with numb hands, and found no print where she had sat, only a wet patch shaped like folded knees. He kept silent for 3 days. On the 4th, fever took his sleep. He heard knocking on the hull each midnight, 6 slow taps, as if knuckles rose from under the water. When priests were called, Luo admitted her words, and would never ferry alone again. From many roads I gathered the same pattern. A Yuan Gui seldom rushed. It waited near the place of wrong. Ford, roadside well, prison wall, mulberry grove, magistrate road. It appeared soaked, dust-covered, or bruised, carrying the mark of its end upon the body. Lamps failed strangely. Sesame oil hissed without wind. A paper screen turned cold as crockery. Hens tucked their heads and would not stir. More than one household told me the room first took on the smell of damp earth opened by a shovel. Villagers kept small taboos after sunset. No one answered a voice calling from outside by the given name, unless the caller showed a face in lamplight. No bowl of rice was left, with chopsticks standing upright. Those belonged too closely to the altar table. There was another rule on the Hunan road: if footsteps stopped at the path hearth, gate and no shadow crossed the threshold. No one unbarred the door at once. An old cooper in Shangtan told me haste fed them. He waited for the rooster clock water to drip twice. In Hubei, boatmen spoke of Yuan Gui as water haunters, dead from beatings, false accusations, or bindings cast into rivers. Their ghosts climbed stern posts and stared inland. In Anhui, I heard of courtyard spirits who stood beneath eaves, dry-footed even in rain. A Fujian merchant gave me a harsher version from inland market towns. There the ghosts sometimes wore official rope marks at the throat, said to be the dead of wrongful punishment. Yet a temple servant from Ganzhou insisted rope belonged to another kind of revenant entirely. One scholar I met near Suzhou argued that a Yuan Gui could attach itself to an object left unpaid for in blood. He showed me a family brush rest wrapped in yellow cloth. Another man laughed at him and said such spirits clung only to ground. The oldest source I found named the aggrieved dead without softening them. In a worn copy of So Shen Ji, kept by a temple reader whose nails were black with ink, several accounts told of murdered or slandered souls returning to accuse the living, in dreams and doorways. I also copied a King Temple register in a hill shrine outside Henyang. It listed offerings for one nameless woman drowned unjustly.
Her tablet marked only with the characters for grievance and return.
Cedar smoke had stained the page brown. Someone had touched it often. What the road taught me was simple. When people spoke of Yuan Gui, their voices changed at the moment of naming. Fear was there, yes, but so was embarrassment, as if an unburied wrong had been left in plain sight for too long. I carried these words from ferry landings, kitchens, shrine steps, and winter inns where the shutters rattled till dawn. Some ghosts in the telling wanted incense. This one wanted acknowledgement. What name do you not speak after dark?